Hello and welcome to tonight's Club Passim show. This is our Global Roots series where we celebrate roots music from around the globe as well as around the United States. My name is Julian Loida, and this is a series I run every month on the fourth Monday of the month, and I'm really excited to have two colleagues of mine and alumni of New England Conservatory in Boston. I went to school with our first performer, Utsav Lal, and I've actually shared the stage with both of them. And so really excited to have them. They're extraordinary musicians who are really deep into the music that they play and the communities that they serve. Um, Tonight, we're going to start with Utsav Lal, who's a pianist currently living in Brooklyn. And he's going to be sharing some Indian classical music as well as improvisations. And we've played some Celtic music together, but I don't think we have that for y'all tonight. But he's such a deep musician, extraordinary, and so musical and thoughtful. Some announcements for Passim to check out the Pair Fund, which is a fund to support artists throughout COVID who are missing so many gigs and tours shut down still through COVID. Hopefully come back soon. If you're able to get vaccinated, please do so. As well as to check out the Celtic Fiddle Workshop that we have this weekend. And throughout this whole pandemic, we've been taking suggested donations online. So if you're able to donate any amount tonight, we would be so grateful. You can find that in the link below here, as well as in the comments. And without further ado, I welcome my friend Utsav Lal tonight.
Hey, thanks for your kind words, Julian. And thanks so much to Rachel and both Julian and Passim for having me over here. Super excited to share my music for you. Most of what I've been focused on for the last 10, 12 years is trying to play Indian classical music on the piano, which is essentially a pretty bad idea because all of the things that are really cool about Indian music are extremely hard to do on the piano or impossible to do, but it's fun trying to find ways around that challenge and work towards something that's physically unachievable. So tonight I'm going to start off with a piece called, the first piece is a rag called Rag Malkos, which is a heavy night rag. It's one of those ones that you can really lose yourself in. And I should also mention that the piano that I played it on is this piano over here that I bought for $50 when I first moved to New York. And it wasn't in great shape when I bought it, and it's suffered a lot since then. So effectively, right now, anything south of here on the piano is almost untunable because the bridge is cracked. But I had to go for about 2 days to try and get it somewhat okay to play on. So it's got a lot of personality, and hopefully you enjoy Rag Malkos. Well, thanks for listening to that. That was Rag Malkos. As if you weren't familiar with Indian music, you would have figured out that things build very, very slowly. You start off with one note and slowly, I guess the golden rule of Indian classical music is event density increases over time. So you always start off with one small phrase and slowly build up a kind of a picture and then introduce a pulse, and it keeps getting faster and denser and more pattern based. The next piece that I'm going to play is, I have no idea what to call it. I kind of started this project over the pandemic where I feel like a lot of things were too compartmentalized in what I work on. And I just made a list of people who really inspire me and thought about them and started improvising, and then listened back to the improvs and went, oh, I like that and I don't like this, and did another one. And the kind of goal was over the next however many years, I'm playing to like let things really simmer, and talk to each other and figure out how they relate. And for this piece, like the people that I was thinking of, like one of my biggest inspirations is Emaha Segu Mariam, an Ethiopian nun who has some beautiful, beautiful music on the piano. And Doug Wieselman, an incredible clarinet player. And Terry Riley, of course. Definitely a bunch of Indian music, and Duke Ellington, who's one of my piano inspirations. So those were the people on my mind. I don't know if it shows through in the piece, but it's kind of a new process of writing, and I'm excited to share. This is probably going to be the first time that I share some of that I've been working on. So I hope you do enjoy it. Thanks again to Passim and for having me over here. And it was really nice to do this, and really looking forward to Abigail's set after this. The soundtrack sounded absolutely incredible. So thanks.
That was Utsav Lal. Incredible piano playing, incredible artistry. So wonderful to have him on tonight's show. He's got a bunch of records out you can purchase and stream as well. The newest one is called Visankti. Hopefully, I'm saying that name pretty well. Visankti. Check out his recordings. He's also a teacher if you're interested in learning more about the music that he's playing, classical Indian music, improvising. Check him out on his socials. He's always doing great work playing all parts of the world and things. He's amazing. Check him out. Again, reminder to, if you're able to, contribute to our suggested donations tonight. Any amount is greatly appreciated. Again, you're tuning into Club Passim's Global Root series that we feature on the fourth Monday of each month. My name is Julian Loida. This is a series that I run to celebrate roots music from around the globe as well as around the U.S. And we're going to transition from improvisation world and Indian classical world to klezmer with Abigale Reisman. And we're so excited to have her on. Check her out. Her band Ezekiel's Wheel as well. She's going to be telling you about her and what she's been up to. And I'm really excited to hear her tonight. So I'm just going to hand it on over.
Hello, and thank you, Julian, for your words. And thank you so much, Utsav, for such beautiful playing. It was just gorgeous, and you're an incredible pianist, so it was just a pleasure to hear that. Well, with that, I'm just going to go right into some music. great to be playing for you all. It's an interesting thing in a pandemic to really have to learn to accompany yourself while you play the melody, and it's I'm a little out of breath, but it was a lot of fun. So my name is Abigail, and I'm playing a set of klezmer music for you tonight. Thank you for joining me on your Monday evening, 3 days after spring has started. Very exciting, very excited. Spent some time outside today. But yeah, so klezmer music, for those of you who might not be familiar with it, it's basically the music of professional Jewish folk musicians from Eastern Europe. And this music was mostly being played for celebrations, and the most popular celebration that would have been happening in Eastern Europe in the shtetls and the small villages in the towns would have been weddings. So the last two pieces that I just played were a Dobranoc and a Freilichs. And a Dobranoc is kind of a concert piece that's to be played for the wedding guests. And a Freilichs in Yiddish literally means happy. So it's like a happy dance, and I got happy because my husband's in the corner and he was dancing around a little bit, so that was really nice. And hopefully you guys are dancing too, which is really a perfect segue into the next piece that I'm going to play, which is another kind of dance. It's my favorite kind of dance, actually. It's a hora, but it might not be the hora that you would be familiar with. It's not the fast one where you're running around in circles. This one is a slower dance. It has an uneven rhythm to it. It has like a jump, 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 long, short, long, and it really creates this suspension feeling in the dance. So if you're familiar with this dance, please feel free to dance it in the comfort of your own home. Feel free to dance at any point in this concert. We'll be playing more things that will be danceable. And then I decided the first piece that I'm going to play before the dance, I should say, I wrote this one. I wrote this hora, so that's a fun little thing that I did. But the piece that I'll play before is called a taksim, and I learned it from a very old recording of a klezmer violinist. It was an old 78 recording originally. And I just really fell in love with it, and I play it all the time, and I thought that it went really nicely into my little hora. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you. I think I can hear you clapping. Maybe. So I have a special guest coming up next, and it shouldn't be a surprise for anybody that knows me, but I happen to live and be married to a very talented musician, so I'm gonna welcome up to the stage in our office, Charles Clements.
Hello, hello.
I should say that, you know, every time people find out that we're married and that we're both musicians, not every time, but often we get the question, oh, do you play together? And before the pandemic, our answer was always, no, we don't. We always keep our professional life separate from our day-to-day family life, whatever the opposite of professional life is. But with the pandemic, that has changed because we're the only two musicians that we see. So within this past year, Charles has become an amazing klezmer musician. It's just...
Oh, thanks, Abby.
Yeah, I've just loved watching you progress in klezmer from the very beginning when I was like, no, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. So
she was a tough teacher, let me tell you. Taskmaster.
So this next piece, we're gonna feature Charles. It's called Meron Nigin. It's a wordless song from Hasidic tradition. And something that I love about Nigunim is that usually but sometimes the last section has this lift, this major section, and I like to think of it just like as a spiritual opening, and maybe a healing and a gratitude. So yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So we just have two more for you. Hopefully that timing is right. It's always hard to tell. But yeah, so this next one is not klezmer, but it's in Yiddish, which is technically the language of klezmer, or at least the language that the people who were creating this music were speaking. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I was actually reading the poetry of Kaja Molodowski, who is an incredibly deep and rich Yiddish poet who I heard about from my mentor, Deborah Strauss, a wonderful klezmer fiddler. And I've always wanted to put some of her poetry to music. So at the beginning of the pandemic, when I actually had time and all my gigs were canceled, I, started working on some of the pieces or some of the poetry. And this one really stuck out to me. It was very comforting. It's all about nature. So I thought that I would read it in English, since I'll be singing it in Yiddish first. So let me get the book. It's right here. Oh, and actually, while I do that, maybe you can change the microphone to my mermaid voice.
Oh, mermaid voice. Right.
It's a joke because one of my friend's daughters said that my voice for the song sounded like a mermaid because we had reverb. So I think that the reverb should be working now. Because Studio Magic, it's a song that it extends throughout a field. So echoes are nice and they make your voice sound better too. So why not? So the poem, it's from Kaja Molodowski's. She kind of writes in series. So this is from Fallen Leaves, and I'll read it to you. Oh, and the translation is by Catherine Hellerstein. You never know which one to say, Steen or Stein. Some people are Steen and some people are Stein. Okay. A low fence hugging the earth, and fields under blue softness turning green. Then my open gaze comes to rest, and my feet walk unhindered. The path extends as it will, leading nowhere but to my heart. And my lips begin to bloom, uttering the unfinished word. Fields listen, attentive to my speech, and answer with stillness and transparent space. My words come flying back to me and land on my dress like butterflies. I eat bread and honey with humble people, and into my mouth comes the scent of fields and bees, and words clear as stars, warm as the sun, all of a sudden.
Der blauer Wegkeit grinen kommt mein Blick der offener zu ruhen die Fies und ophalt gehen. Sieht der Weg sich stamma so. Nirgends weiten Feldern aufmerksam sich zu meiner Rede entfernen. Mit Stillkeit und mit durchsichtigen Räumen kommen meine Werte zurück zu mir zu fliehen und fahren zu, wie so merkwürdig zum Kleid. Sieht der Weg sich stamme so, führt sie nirgends nicht, nur zu mein Herz. Und die Lippen heben an zu blieben, reden euch das, nicht der Retterwort, nicht der Retterwort. Bei Prost der Menschen, es sich beut mit Honig und es kommt der Reach in mein Maul von Feld und Bienenware. Läutere wie Stern und Warme, wie Sonnen mittendrin.
All right. So we have just one more for you. But before we go into that, I had a couple things that I wanted to say that I did not want to forget. The first thing is, thank you so much to Passim for having me and Charles. Utsav was beautiful playing. It was so lovely to hear. And I also wanted to thank Passim because I was fortunate enough to receive an Iguana grant this year to continue working on the klezmer violin and creating content with it, creating videos and studying it really hard and reading all of the literature I can about it and just immersing myself in it. So that's the process that I'm in right now. Just really trying to get the soul of it and into my heart. So yes, that was the one thing. And then the other is that my klezmer band, Ezekiel's Wheels Klezmer Band, has a live stream concert, a Passover party concert this Thursday at 7. I think I forgot to look that up. I think it's this Thursday at 7. Yes, we have like 400 guests or something. It's wild. We got a guy from a gefilte fisheria. We have a children's book author. Lots of things, lots of videos that we're preparing. So it should be a fun time. Thank you so much for having me. You can check me out. Oop, there. It's a mirrored image on my website. You can sign up for my mailing list. And we just have one little more tune for you. This is another one from those old violin recordings. Really nice little tune. 1, 2, 3, 4. you so much for having us. Bow.
Thank you so much, Abigail and Charles. Your music was so wonderful. You guys are so great to see you both. Please check them out on their socials as well. They're amazing musicians, always doing really thoughtful work, really incredible. Also check out Utsav Lal on his socials and everything he's doing. All these artists have records, and what's so fun about these shows is to hear what these artists, who inspires them, what their influences are. I know I wrote down some of Utsav's. I'm going to go listen to those, which is really exciting. What do we got here? We have a Celtic Fiddle Workshop this weekend to check out through Club Passim. Also, the Pear Fund. You can help support artists during these times. And right now, you can support through a suggested donation. Any amount would be wonderful if you're able to support tonight's musicians as well as Club Passim. Our next Global Roots show is April 26th with Sha Pung, an amazing violinist, erhu, social justice advocate, just an extraordinary human being. Really excited to have, and she does original music, and really excited to see what she does for her set on April 26th. So mark then your calendars now. We are here with the Global Roots Fest the fourth Monday of each month. Again, this is Club Passim, folk music venue. Stay tuned for more. Check out the online schedule. We're always streaming shows. Thanks again to Rachel behind the scenes for running it, and to Utsav, Charles, and Abigail. And we hope you have a wonderful night, wonderful Passover this weekend, and Holy Week if you're a Christian. We hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks so much, and stay safe and stay healthy.